We, recording is in progress. We're good to go. So we'll start with our pledge. Who's got a flag? Yeah, David's not here. David's not going to come. Kathy, uh-oh. She's going to look. If she doesn't have one, I have a little one somewhere that I can grab. We can't pledge without a flag.
There's always one on the moon.
This is like, let's make a deal. I'll give you $100 if you can show up with a flag.
Yeah.
I think I have one. Hang on.
We got a flag.
Kathy's got one.
Oh,
Okay.
Kathy's got it.
Yeah, Kathy's got it.
Kathy's got it. So you can join me in the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, public input. Any public having some input? And nope. Okay. Correspondence, we don't have anything that's not part of the documents that were sent out already. So we're good with that. And approval of meeting minutes from our last meeting of July 27. So I'll make a motion that we approve meeting minutes from our regular meeting of July 27, 2020. Dave Olson, second. Okay. Any discussion or anything needed to be added, changed, etc.? Oh, we're good. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Abstain.
All right.
Abstain.
Yeah, Dino's abstaining and Roy's abstaining because they weren't here. Good. Okay, so just two reminders of just kind of like technology stuff. We're here remote today because we're still waiting to get access to some hybrid space so we can do some more hybrid meetings. But we're gonna just keep doing remote while we need to. And I'm gonna ask that anyone who's not speaking or needs to speak, if you keep yourself muted, that would be helpful because I'm getting a little feedback. I don't know about anybody else. And then if you're going to speak, you don't always need to be on camera, but if you are going to be speaking or giving any kind of report, if you could turn your camera on, that would be great. We should be able to see you if you're part of the team. So we'll jump into our old business. I don't think we have anything else. There's a few things we're going to need to talk about, like upcoming meeting schedule, but we'll do that after we do a little bit of old business. Our school projects, closeout update. Our outstanding thing is the landscaping, etc. And I'm hoping they're still planning to start soon. Ken, is that still true?
Sunburst emailed me and said that he may be involved with some work over at the middle school, so that he would get back to me and let me know if that date is still going to happen.
So they're doing some work for the town at the middle school. Is that what's
That's
happening?
what he said, yes.
Okay. Well, I hope he can try to coordinate it with that, so we can get going. I think the biggest thing is going to be any heavy equipment coming through with any material should get done when the schools are not in session, and that would be that end of August time. So if you can keep us posted on that, that would be helpful.
I will.
Ken,
And then-
the date that you gave last meeting was 8/22. So is that the date that's in jeopardy?
Yes,
Okay, by how much?
he didn't say, but I would say it's probably a week.
So push back a week, is that going to be,
That's what it sounds like, yes.
and that's going to be after school, that whole week is when they're getting prepared to start school, and then school's going to start. So is there
Correct.
any-
So you really have to look at the calendar as to like, the first day the buses are going to be rolling with students in that campus.
Which is the 29th, correct?
Yes,
Correct.
Yeah. But no, hey, Terry, couldn't we like, given the same timeframes we're giving Claris right now with the fields? They block out periods of truck traffic during.
Yeah, you'd have to, yeah, Bob, you'd have to make clear the arrival and dismissal times. And you'd have to meet with Trish Susi and Allison Salerno
Mhm.
regarding any safety of student movement around their buildings if there's heavy equipment there.
Yeah, because I know they cross over, they cross over to the middle school a couple times throughout the day. So that, we have to get it really tightly controlled.
The principals would have to be informed of, so that they adjust student movement.
So what was the situation while we were in construction with, because both schools were occupied and being used, and the whole campus was occupied and being used. So how did we work around that while we were past 3 years under construction?
Yes, and there were very delineated areas, construction versus school operations, with fencing and doors and walls. And so, you're going back to just making sure that there's a clear delineation between wherever students or movement is taking place versus where construction is taking place.
So I understand it would be different than this construction happening inside the school, that we're
Correct.
looking at school grounds, but obviously flow of traffic, stop and start times for each school, because if they're going to be bringing dump truck loads of stuff in, if that's part of it, can't be doing that while the buses are all lined up and things like that.
Correct. So Nancy, school transportation is a big factor. And the next piece to me that's a big factor is really the two principals, because a lot of physical education classes go outside, and they would just have to adjust their operations. There would just have to be a clear delineation so that operations are adjusted and we don't end up with any kind of situation.
So what would be the best way then to, if that's moved back a week, or even if it's moved back a couple days, you're still looking at moving into the school year. And we know that discussion with Sunburst, that they really wanted to push back into September for better possibility of growing, but we're trying to not impact the schools, all of them, as little as possible. So what would be the best kind of line of communication for setting this up through, from Rizzo to who?
I would recommend through Bob, and Bob, of course, would go directly to the superintendent and contact the two principals, because Bob is doing facilities work all the time.
Right.
And there are always those kinds of communications that have to go on. So we just want to make sure that those communications happen. So Bob, that would be your gig to.
And,
Okay.
and is there any Saturdays possible where
I
they
don't
can get
know-
a
I
full
don't know
day?
if he plans on Saturdays or not.
Okay.
I mean, it could possibly be, if necessary, let's say they had to bring a couple of dump truck loads of materials in or something like that. They
Yeah.
might be able to like drop it off somewhere kind of out of the way on a Saturday and then come in and if it's, I know some of the work is larger, like the slope coming off the playground at Rockwell, and then other parts are smaller where they're having to infill along some of the edging of either parking lots or mostly walkways, the sidewalks where it's kind of settled, and so they want to even that out, get some grass growing there. That's smaller work, but it also requires the school to know that they shouldn't be stomping around on that.
Yeah. No?
So
So-
typically, Nancy, what would happen, like Bob referred to the project down at the middle school. With that as an example, you have a map, you're all on a Zoom or in person together, you know, it's the principals, the superintendent, Bob as head of facilities, and whoever's in charge of that construction from Sunburst's side. And you just mark it off, talk it through, and everybody makes the right arrangements.
Okay, that sounds good. So we'll just make sure that everybody stays in touch and if, you know, when needed, not if needed, but when needed,
Mhm.
put together a little either Zoom or Google Meets or something where everybody is on the same computer screen rather than page, so you can get, everybody gets the same information, everybody knows what to do. And
Well-
then, Ken, you can hopefully keep us posted on, you know, when you get something definite from Sunburst, just let us know.
Terry, I'll
Yes,
start
sir.
that discussion with Dr. Chesley. I'm sorry, Dr. Chesley.
Ah,
You're two
Talk about-
superintendents ago.
I know. I'll start that discussion with the group, and so this way here, prime the pump a little bit, so when it actually happens,
Yeah, Bob, you'll have to take the ball and do it. That's, yeah.
no
thank
problem.
you.
Yeah.
Okay, good, thank you. And then the other outstanding, larger outstanding thing, which is more recent, which came up at the end of June when we got a meeting from Park and Rec about some washout behind Johnson, kind of downstream from the stormwater management area. And been a couple of meetings out there with different groups of people, and then finally today, this afternoon, just this afternoon, in the heat and humidity, though not as bad as yesterday. So Perkins Eastman, so Joe was there, Joe Colada, Ken and Jim, Eddie Killian, and Darren from, Daryl, is it Darren or Daryl? Daryl.
Darren Overton. from
Darren, yeah,
SLR.
Darren from SLR, who's newish to the job because the guy that was working on it before has moved out of the area. So there were lots of, and then Eileen Earl and I were there, from Eileen Earl and Park and Rec and me. So lots of discussion back and forth, and there's actually in that level spreader, which is the lowest downstream area, there was water sitting there from the recent crazy rains we've had, where it rains for 5 minutes and then stops, and then it's sunny, and then it pours again 3 hours later. So there's some water sitting in there, but you could see where some more washout was happening, et cetera. So we're going to get just correct me if I'm wrong, but we're going to wait for a report from SLR, which will come to us through Perkins Eastman, and then we'll have to look at what their comments and recommendations are. There were several different kinds of recommendations that were brought up by everyone who was there. Everybody had some suggestions. We asked a lot of questions. Eileen and I asked the most questions, just because we wanted to make sure, first off, that the area is working as designed, which it is. And if you've not been back there, and I talked about this when I've been back there a couple of times recently, you see how it's the way the whole property is. It just kind of goes down into the East Swamp Brook, East Brook Swamp, East Swamp Brook. And it happens for it's not just one little area, all along the back of the schools. So coming up with some, not just temporary, and definitely not temporary fixes was what we're looking at. So we did talk about some of the ideas of sandbags, which we see as temporary. And we'll see if we're possibly going to do that. But if we have some other suggestions that might take the same effort as putting the sandbags back, maybe we'll do that, right off instead. The one thing that I think we will do, and Ken's working on getting a proposal for us, that area all along the back has a gate. So behind Johnson, where the playgrounds are, and then there's a paved area, which is kind of an emergency access if needed. There's a gate that goes into the sort of pond area of the stormwater management, but there's no easy access through the fence, unless you kind of take the fence down to that slope and that level spreader. So we're asking for a proposal of putting a gate in an area that would make that area accessible to smallish to halfway large machinery and if needed. So they're going to hopefully come to us. Rizzo is going to come to us with that proposal. That I think is something we should actually do, because I think it'll add, I don't know, Bob, or if the Park and Rec or anybody needs to get back there for anything, it would make it an easier access point. And then the rest of it, I said, is we'll have to wait on the reports. Like I said, I think there were ideas and questions and information back and forth between everyone present, which I thought was a good way to have the discussion. And then I'm hoping that once the report comes out, it can be looked at by SLR, Perkins Eastman, Rizzo, STV, and then proposals that come to us. We're not going to like hash that all through at a meeting. It's just, it would take way too much time. But if you have a proposal or two to bring to us, I think that would be the better way to do it. So I don't know, Joe, Ken, or Jim, if you have any other input on that. No, we're just going to wait and get the report. And I mean, we could all say what we heard, but let's not do that, because, they might throw some information out there that is incomplete, et cetera. So.
Hey, Nancy, just as
Yeah.
a point of interest, I had placed a service call with Atlas Fencing, who did
Yeah.
the Rockwell fence.
Yep.
And they're coming down. And now I'm not sure if Atlas did the one over at Johnson, but they definitely did the one at Rockwell. It's in their warranty book.
Mhm.
Do you want them to look at it and price it, or is Ken already got that under?
PNC did Johnson School.
Oh, okay, different vendor. Okay.
So Ken, you'll have PNC take a look at it?
Yes, but I also asked Earth Movers to get me a price. So
Okay.
and it
Okay.
could be that you have somebody that's cheaper that you want to use.
Why don't we have Bob's vendor look at it too, get a third price? That won't hurt.
No, it wouldn't hurt.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, good. All right, so do we have anything else on construction? Anything we're waiting for, anything we're waiting on? Anything I can't think of anything that's kind of,
I have a couple items, but I'll
okay,
wait.
sure.
Okay, as I just alluded to, I have a warranty claim going in for the fencing at Rockwell. And I also found out yesterday that the fire alarm system at Rockwell, at Johnson, has a wiring problem that it has a built-in delay if the sprinklers go off. So the sprinkler company, when they came down to do their annual inspection, they're the ones that noted this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a call into the company who installed the sprinkler alarm and see if they could look at it and see if that is, first of all, code. Second of all, if it's according to the way it was supposed to have been wired. So I got that on the back burner I'm working with. And then secondly, or thirdly, I have back at Rockwell, I have an automation issue that ESC, I could never get that right. ESC has been on it for about a week and a half now, and they're noticing that there's some programming issues that date back to the original. So once I have all that information, I'll put a report together for you. But it looks like there's anomaly in the automation at Rockwell that needs to be cleared up, that dates back to installation, fencing issues, and now and then over at Johnson, my issues over there. So I got a couple things I'm trying to make right, but all dating back to installation.
So the automation at Rockwell, is that like a school-wide system issue?
It's the AC control according to ESC, they're stating that it's not the commands for the individual units to come on do not match the sensors. So what he's looking at is to make sure that the program is originally programmed correctly. All right, so it can interpret these signals that are coming in from all over the building. So that's so they're working on that right now. I'm not being charged for it. They said that this is something that they want to look at because it looks like it dates back. So that may end up being a warranty thing. But the wiring for the fire alarm, I don't have all the information on that just yet. But that looks like a possible wiring issue.
So with the with the issue at Rockwell, do you think it has anything to do with the way that they set up some of the stuff to be full on because of COVID and air exchange and all that? Or is it way back, like either installation or programming not happening correctly?
Yeah, I asked that question too, and they said that there, and even my other automation company looked at it as well, and they said no, there's no coded settings on there. It looks like the original when they actually take the part and say, okay, this is what the parameters of this part, and they log that parameter in. It looks like
Yeah.
that information is not correct.
Okay,
So that's why they're kind of going back to the beginning again and trying to see what some of those anomalies. It's not the entire building, but there's enough of the building to be a problem with AC.
okay.
Okay.
Oh, good. So,
Heating was fine. Oh, the entire heating season was fine. It's just now the AC. So, but Johnson
Okay.
seems to be working fine with the automation, so that's good.
yeah, okay. Well, they'll figure it out and keep us posted, but you're trying to get everything set before school starts, I'm assuming.
That's correct. But I also want to make sure that if these are warranty claims that they get filed quickly.
Yes, correct. Anything else that you're finding, Bob? We're good? Yeah. Anybody else have any other either questions or before we move on to budget stuff? Okay, so Vinny did send out the tracking budgets and the overall kind of project cost analysis. Vinny, I don't know if you want to have some input here.
Yeah, hello, everybody. Talking with Geraldine, there's no change in budget or the budget tracking for this month. So it's
Yeah.
status quo from last month.
Right, because we haven't had any invoices or anything specific that's come in. We do have an invoice or two tonight. We'll look at those when we get to
Yeah.
invoices, but yeah, we don't have anything specific tonight. Is there anything else that you have, Vinny, or need from us?
No, I'm still getting up to speed and reading all the emails and trying to understand what the project is right now and what direction we're all going.
Okay, well, if you have questions, obviously you reach out to me or to, Ken or Jim of Rizzo, Joe from Perkins Eastman, or either Bob or Dr. Carver from the schools.
Yeah, I think I emailed you quite a bit on what goes where this week, and who
Yeah,
gets what.
yeah. Yeah, and that's, kind of a weird thing that they came up with meetings that are either remote or hybrid, where documents have to be sent out ahead of time and posted at the town website, which, when we were having just in-person meetings, we didn't have to have all these documents to hand out to people.
Yeah.
But now that we're doing this, we do have to. So, yeah, we'll just make sure that all gets done before each meeting.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure what I was sending out was the correct information and I wasn't given something that shouldn't be going out.
Right. Yep.
You know?
Well, I think we got everything that you sent, and everything you sent is usually what is sent out. So,
Okay, great.
so
Nancy,
Terry, yeah.
do you mind if I have a question? I have one question for Vinny.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Vinny, before Geraldine's last day, I had spoken to her. She had asked me to get the worksheets of all the expenditures to date, completely up to date, which I had done for her and sent over. She said that was a piece she wanted to review with you. So were you able to go over that with her as to where we are in terms of preparing for the final closeout of the project?
There was a document that was left on my desk today when I was in the office, and it was for Johnson School. I didn't really get an opportunity to look at it. I'm not sure. It's about maybe 6, 8 pages. Does that sound about right?
Well, this is Excel files,
file.
one for
It was all-
Rockwell, one for Johnson, and Geraldine had mentioned she was going to review it with you, but I don't know if that was able to be done or not.
No, it was not.
Okay,
Maybe what I have on my desk is what she wanted to review with me. So when I go back into the office, I'll take a look at it. I do know the cover page for one was Johnson School. It was a financial document,
okay,
and it looked like a spreadsheet, like something printed out from Excel.
okay. Well, when you get to the point that you want to see where we're at, because that is the layout that we'll be using then to do the final closeout, that you'll be working with the team on to go to the state. Just get in touch with Nancy. I'm happy to explain the flow of the document to you.
Okay, all right. Let me take a look at it again in depth, make sure that it is both documents. I did not see the other school on there. I didn't see Rockwell. I only see Johnson School listed. I actually highlighted the school because I went through the document, but I thought it was all Johnson, but maybe I missed it.
Well, I had sent them to her in Excel form, and I had sent them separate, one file for Rockwell, one file for Johnson.
I have a lot of emails from her on Friday. She blew up my email. So I put them all in a separate folder so I can go through them individually. So that way they don't get mixed in with everything else. So I
Okay,
have not had an opportunity in the last couple of days to take a look at that, but I will.
Terry,
So, and
do you still have them, Terry?
oh yeah, I have them.
Okay.
Yeah, and I also had forwarded them to
Jen?
Jen. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, because I wanted to make sure we were working with the most up to date as of the point that Geraldine was leaving.
so, and Geraldine can be in touch with Vinny or Vinny can be in touch with Geraldine if needed, if he has, questions that he wants to hear from her, kind of from the sort of STV side of it, rather than, he obviously would go over it with you, Terry, Terry and Jen, as you're getting ready to get stuff to the state. But she has said that she would make herself available to Vin to be able to go over stuff if needed.
Correct, because I think STV was going to be a critical part of doing that
Yep.
final filing. So I just,
Yep.
I had a good conversation with Geraldine, and I don't want you to spin your wheels. I'm happy to just walk you through the flow, and it's an easily understood document. I just want to make sure that you have the right document and that how the flow of the document and how you can use it for the closeout.
Terry,
Okay,
when
let me
when
go
you're
over my documentation, and I'll get back to you.
Okay.
Terry, when you're at the point where we're actually gonna do the filing, it's the same thing as before. I go into the system, correct?
It is, but there's more documents that also have to go with this final filing.
Okay.
So, I would say Geraldine was probably the most familiar with exactly the process to close it out. So, just want to make sure that I do whatever I can do to make it easy to understand where we are.
I have access to her, but let me take a look, and if I have any questions, I will call her.
Okay,
I do have to get her personal cell phone, which I don't have, but I can get that off of probably Mark, my VP.
okay. Very good, Vinny, and nice to meet you.
Same here, thank you.
So one thing we'll do before doing the invoice or invoices, I might be two, I'll look in my folder.
I've only had one right now.
One, okay, the Lucido one, because I think we're still working on the red thread, getting the chairs and whatever, correct? Is that true?
Well, Nancy, it seems like we've been working on it for months and months and months. And I talked to the school, I talked to the Allison today. Developmentally, they're the same, the size, They're nice looking chairs. They're actually even the same color. It's just that they're a little bit different of a style. So at this point, I don't know if it's even worth it. I mean, it's literally been how long, Terry? 2 or 3 months?
Yeah, several. I
I
think
I
the
mean,
original, yeah.
it's like ridiculous. So we could swap, we were talking about swapping out these chairs, which are just a little different stylistically from the library, and then putting, because the ones in the library match the ones that are in the classroom, I believe, Joe. But
Yes, should.
yeah, so let's just keep the chairs and pay the bill and be done with it.
Yeah, they were,
Okay.
the original were all sled based, and my understanding is the new ones that came in were all 4 legs.
They are, and
Right.
they're fine. They're absolutely fine. They, like I said, they match. They're the right color. It's just that the bottom is a little
Base is
bit different.
different.
And
Yeah, it
so,
makes sense to take those and put them in the media
Right.
center, and take the media centers and mix them back into the classrooms.
that's right. And so at this point, we just decided, let's just cut it off. So Vinny, I don't know who was following up on your end, and I apologize everybody for being late. I was caught up in another meeting. But if we just at this point pay the invoice, I think it's fine.
Well, I would say that we should have been, make sure that the invoice covers, like, are the chairs, if they were less expensive, I would like to pay that price, but if they're the same
100%.
price, if they're the
100.
same price, or if they're more expensive, let's still pay the lesser amount. But you might, it's, so the company is Red Thread, Vin. And
Right.
there was an invoice that we got from them in May, it's dated May, but the delivery of first of all, the delivery didn't happen. That was a couple months before that even, it was like March, April. And then some of the delivery happened, and then the whole delivery happened, but it was wrong. And they sent us an invoice and said, pay it. So if we could
Wait.
check with them, hopefully.
Right. And Vinny, if you, I don't know, I don't have the invoice. I don't know. I think Geraldine had it, right, Terry?
Well,
I have an invoice dated 8/4/22.
then
And
there's-
I posted that and sent that to the group in the Johnson School chair replacement recommendation.
Yeah.
Is that the invoice that we're speaking of, or is there
Probably.
another invoice?
I
yeah,
don't
so
know.
this one, yeah. I have it here, and I don't even know if I can pull it up to put it on screen share, but it's Red Thread, and it's dated May 18th, this one. And it's for, oh, these are for desks
Yeah.
and desks. This one doesn't say chairs.
The desks were fine, right, Bob? It's only the chairs that were just the wrong style, and that was holding up the invoice.
Right, and the total amount is
Right.
$20,606. And, but it only says desks, it doesn't talk about chairs.
Well, that makes no sense.
So we're gonna have to check, this, and Vin, I can send you this is a printed copy. I can't remember. Oh, it says page 2 of 2. Oh, here's page 1. It's on the other side. Yep, here's the chairs. Because
I
it
can
didn't sound
pull up
right.
what
but-
I have. I
Okay.
can pull up what Geraldine gave me, so just give me a second here.
Okay,
I think I just found it in my email too.
All right, can you all see right here?
well, we're
This is
seeing, yep, there we
one-
are.
This is the one that Geraldine gave me. It's dated 8/4/22. This is the one that she asked me to upload for this meeting. And it looks like it's covering the chairs. And it looks, it's not, this is
So-
not marked up right here, but she took off the, looks like the metal book box for the desk, 5,200. She scratched that. And there was talk at one of our meetings that the staff would do would
Correct.
install these. So she took that off. So the actual cost is $1,681.
But I think that you see the first chairs, the 26 chairs.
Yes.
Yeah, Yeah,
I guess I would ask Vinny, it says nylon glide. If that's the sled chair, that's not what we got. We got regular 4-post chairs. I don't know, Joe, do you know if that's the ones that were the sled kind.
It looks like, because it's a 16-inch cantilever, which would be the sled type.
So Vinny, they're charging us for the sled type, but they gave us a different type.
Okay,
So we
Right, so
might need
they,
a
they
new,
would, right, a
yeah.
new invoice. If
New
you're gonna
invoice.
keep the one they sent you, if it's a lower price, then that's all you
Right.
should pay. If it's not, then you should just pay this. And if it's-
I don't know what's easier, Vinny,
Right.
but school starts in 2 weeks and I need to put the chair somewhere. So if we use these chairs that they actually gave us, that's not the ones that we're going to be paying for. And I think Nancy's right. If they're cheaper, which I imagine they are, the style, Joe.
I don't know, to be honest. I would
Okay.
have to check with Lindsay.
did you get an invoice for those chairs?
This is it, but they gave us the wrong chairs.
Okay, so.
So
this
they
is
haven't-
what-
So right, they invoiced you for the chairs you ordered, but they
Right.
sent the wrong ones. The
Correct.
question is, are the wrong ones that Dr. Carver is willing to accept, are they cheaper or more expensive or the same price? And that should be figured out before you pay for them.
That is correct, Joe.
So the Johnson School chair order document we're looking at now is a STV document with the invoice attached to it.
Correct.
So what we need to find out is, was that sent to Red Thread? Did Geraldine, I'm assuming Geraldine wrote that, because it's before August 5. And if she
Yeah.
sent that to Red Thread, then we need to get a reply from them.
Right, because she put down her recommendation is to retrieve the 44 liquid chairs and replace them with the correct matching
Yeah.
sled chairs.
And in,
Yep.
in
At a
any
cost of
given world,
15,
Vinny, in any
81.
given world, I would agree. But it has been 3 months.
Yeah. So,
And
but you,
Nobody-
nobody's come out.
but
Would you like me
Christine,
to contact Red Thread and?
yes,
Well, she
Right,
has
that's right.
90,000 times. This is not new. And I know you're new, but Geraldine has talked to them many times and they don't come. They do not respond. So,
I'll get them to respond.
okay,
I'll work
And
on it.
I think we need to look at this letter that Geraldine wrote on the top there, was dated August 5th. So if it just went to Red Thread and they haven't, obviously, yes, Christine, we are looking for them to respond more quickly than they have, but Ben, if you could look into that and see,
I will.
did they receive this and what's their response to it? And then we'll hopefully get the correct invoice from them from what they actually did deliver. Because the old one that I have, which has the desks and the chairs, the desks came, but have we ever paid any invoice to them? I don't think we have. I'd have to look back at meeting minutes, and I don't know if Kathy has her spreadsheet up, but I don't think we've paid any invoice to them. We were waiting to make sure that we got what we asked for before we went ahead and approved anything. So
You see
Vin,
the-
you'll look in.
Do you
If
see
I
that
can get a
last,
time, go ahead.
that it says also to note, if the school would keep the 44-leg base chairs, Red Thread has offered a $50 per chair credit, $2,000 to be applied to the
Correct.
book box order. So
Okay.
if the total invoice for the chairs is $1,681 and Red Thread is offering a $2,000 credit. it
To the
seems that-
box order, which I'm not sure what that is.
So it looks like from the letter from Geraldine that somebody is ordering independently of the effort to have Red Thread supply the book boxes. The school contracted Paragon directly for information on adding the book boxes. Paragon, the desk manufacturer, provided the Johnson head custodian with a price of $40 per book box plus $600 for each for a total of $2,200. And then the custodial staff will install on their own. So it looks like if you keep the chairs, you get a $2,000 credit on the order.
Mhm.
which
So
is fine.
That's the way that I'm reading it. But if I can get them to replace the chairs, is that the direction you want to go? But based on a timeline. So
Yeah, I don't think it's realistic and it's not that big of a deal. And if we're gonna get a credit anyways, that's fine, but we should get a revised invoice with the accurate information before you pay it, obviously.
let me reach out to Red Thread and then to try to see what's going on. And they have talk to this other company, Paragon. Because it sounds like they're the ones that is given the credit. You know, so I'm not sure the connection between Red Thread and Paragon.
Well, Paragon
So-
is the manufacturer
Correct.
Okay.
And
and
Red Thread is-
Red was the dealer.
Correct.
Okay.
And-
Yep.
And to be honest, a little more background, Vinny, Paragon has been very disappointed in Red Thread as a dealer, to say it politely. And they sent us desks that the tops didn't hold up. It's a whole separate issue. And actually, we bypassed Red Thread, and it was Paragon, the manufacturer, that sent us all the replacement tops. Because they're a bit embarrassed over this dealer. So
That is
that-
this right here, right?
No, it's it's a separate issue.
that's a
Oh,
separate
separate
issue.
They
Completely separate issue.
provided, they actually provided the cantilever chairs that had a defect in them, which were causing scratching to the tops of the original desks. So it was a
Okay.
whole separate issue that's been, I believe has been resolved,
It has.
Yes.
right? So it sounds like if Bethel accepts the 4-leg chairs, they're gonna offer a $2,000 credit on the book box. Bring
Right.
it down to $2,200 from $4,200, I think is what I'm figuring out from looking at this quickly. And then
What-
the custodians would install them instead of paying Red Thread $1,000 to install them.
So do we think that's an okay thing to do? I think it sounds like what Dr. Carver's saying, that let's do that, but Vin's
Yes.
gonna have to check in with them and make sure.
I gotta
But they're-
check in because it's Paragon that's given the credit, but it sounds like we have to get that credit back from Red Thread.
Yes,
Okay,
Mm,
so,
No, that's not how I'm reading it. It sounds like the head custodian of Johnson's going directly to Paragon.
correct, but Paragon's the manufacturer that is offering the credit. But Red Thread being the distributor would be the one that would probably have to initiate it. I'm assuming,
the invoice comes from Red Thread, so if the invoice. is gonna
Correct.
come
Oh, I
from
see
Red
what you're
Thread-
saying.
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
so Vin will
Right, so
figure that out.
basically Paragon's saying
So-
if you keep the chairs that we've already sent, we don't have to come pick them up and drop off new ones. And
right.
here's a $2,000 credit for it.
I will start with Paragon first, get their side. Take that information to Red Thread and I'll work it from there.
Okay,
And I'll see what Paragon can send me that, or can send Red Thread and copy me about this credit. Cause you know,
okay,
cause I don't know if these two are talking.
yeah,
If they're
you'll
not,
make them talk.
yeah, I'll figure out a way. Okay, so we're keeping the chairs. We're gonna accept the credit and we're looking for that credit to be applied to the book boxes.
Yep.
Sounds like, okay, all right, I will work on that.
And I guess either Dr. Carver or Bob is your staff okay with installing the book boxes as per the recommendation here? Yes, okay,
Yeah, Bob, didn't you already start it?
Yeah, Ryan has already started doing that.
Yeah.
okay, good, way ahead. Okay. So before we go on to the invoice that we have from Lucito, I want to, because then we'll be jumping off the school stuff onto another thing. Just want to touch base with everybody about our next meeting is scheduled for the 20, I'm getting to my calendar. 24th. August 24th. So some of us may be away. I don't know, other people might be away. Are we looking at needing to have a meeting? The invoices that we usually get at the end of the month are Perkins Eastman and STV. Those could probably wait a little. I don't know if we'll be in a place of knowing what our proposals might be about the stormwater management area. So any Anybody jump right in, input on any of that?
I can't make it. I will
So
not.
John won't be here, I won't be here, Kathy won't be here.
I won't be here.
I
Joe,
don't think there's probably anything to meet, not with the school stuff.
yeah, and then we can make a decision, because I know we'll get some input on the training range from everyone that's part of that. See if we need to do anything with that. Otherwise, we'll just wait till September, the beginning of September. But in the meantime, obviously, Rizzo will be continuing to work with getting everything going with the landscaping, and then see what we can get from everybody with proposals for the stormwater management area.
I know I jumped on late, and Bob, you'll fill me in later about the timeline for that around Johnson School.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
Okay.
we don't have, Dr. Carver, we don't have a proposal yet for the stormwater issues behind Johnson. So
No, I meant the reseeding of the grass. Remember
yeah.
Mhm.
that, because that's going to affect the operations. Like,
Yep.
We talked about the matrix of the drop-off periods in the buses.
okay, we still need to come up with some kind of system to be able to like fence it off or put up something so people don't walk on those areas,
Right.
even if it's little stakes or something.
Yep. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So so we won't have a meeting unless something comes up crazy that we need to deal with. But we have the one invoice from Losito, which was after I don't know how many years of using the space, they discovered some things weren't wired as needed. So Losito took care of that, and that's what this invoice is. That was sent out ahead.
That's correct.
So I'll make unless you need to see, Vinny had it up and then he took it down, but if you need to see it, let us know. Otherwise,
Isn't it still- it's not still up?
we're seeing you rock climbing. Is that what's on there?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Are you rock climbing? Is that
There it
you?
is. That is me. That is
it
me.
really?
I'm the one in the blue ready to fall down. Okay. Yeah, I can also show you another one where I'm scuba diving and one where I'm running on a beach. No, those are not me.
Crazy. All right. So
There it is.
yeah, I think your rock climbing one's more interesting than the invoice, but we'll do the invoice. So I'll make a proposal that we approve the Lucido invoice number 109831 for work at Johnson School. Yeah, as per their quote, in the amount of $4,423.
Second.
I got a second from Bob and Dave Olson. Any questions, comments, etc.? All
What's
in
it
favor?
for?
What's that?
What's it for?
So there was there is in one of the classrooms, an exhaust hood and
Stove.
the range, an electric stove or an electric range.
They were never
And so-
hooked up.
So they were never hooked up, but there was never anything run there to hook it up to. It wasn't like they had a plug and you could plug it in. I think some of it needed to be hot wired, but none of the wiring was ever run way back when it was done. And it's been sitting there unused and nobody's said anything until recently. So so they had to run the wiring and get it all hooked up. Okay.
Is this the last one?
Who knows?
Yeah.
It better be the last one.
I don't know. I'm with Dr. Carver. I have an operating budget. You guys?
To be clear, this was
Listen,
never.
listen, it's not.
To be
it
clear,
should-
this was never on the
John
contract
Perna, it
document.
should have been done as part of the project,
Okay.
and it wasn't done.
Well, and to be clear, it was not on the contract. So just to make sure
That
everyone
is,
is aware.
you are
of that.
right, you are right.
Yeah, the wiring wasn't there, but
And yeah,
Stuff
I
was
honestly
there.
think what happened was, you weren't here, John, we discussed it, but I think it was part of the FF&E package. It's
That's
for
correct.
It's for students that were handicapped. It was an add-on, which very grateful for it because it's a very important piece to the program. But as part of the design, the electrical wasn't included. So
Okay.
that's what happened.
All right.
So, and they had to,
Just double checking.
obviously running the wiring after the fact was not as easy as if it would have been done during the project, the roughing in of the project. So any other questions? All in favor? Aye.
Right.
Is there anybody opposed? Okay, that passes, and Kathy, I'll bring you that tomorrow. And I think that's it for our school projects. You thought of anything that we haven't gone over? Et cetera, et cetera. And just a reminder, if you do have questions, et cetera, mostly for the project team that needs to go through owner's rep, you make sure you send it to Vinny, because Geraldine's email is kind of shut down. It should bounce back, but it does go through an STV channel where it's viewed by Mark, the next step higher. And if he sees that it's got to go to Vinny, he'll get it to Vinny. But if you send it to Vinny right away, he gets it quicker. So instead of going through, might not get routed as quickly through to Vinny if you send it to Geraldine. So see if you can make sure that you send it to Vin. So I think that's it. Joe, Bob, Jim, Ken, Vinny's got to stay on. Dr. Carver, Terry, if you have anything, otherwise, good night. Thank you. See you in September. Well, we'll probably see you before that, but as far as meetings go, we'll see you in September.
Good night.
Good night, everyone.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Right.
So next we have the police station training range. As you know, the referendum passed. And even though the referendum passed, we were still required to go to the Board of Selectmen to approve having Downs be, we as a commission had approved Downs being the construction manager, that initial pre-construction amount, et cetera. But the Board of Finance or Board of Selectmen still asked us to come and present it to them, which in a way was good because it gave me an opportunity to dispel some ongoing myths that we're all mad at Downs, which we're not. So I was able to answer questions that came from the Board of Selectmen about where we stand with Downs. Obviously, we wouldn't ask them to do the work if we didn't feel confident in their ability to get things done. So the action target purchase order was sent out, and I believe most of, we're going to get a couple of updates from both Vin, and we've got Brian with us here too. So Vin, I know you were back and forth with action target and Marty about terms of the contract, et cetera. And so I don't know if we're finished with that or if that's still.
I believe Marty has all the information that he needs in order to approve the contract. So
Okay.
once he approves the contract, then we can get that finalized and get that back to action target.
Yeah.
So we're good there. Action target. So I had a conversation. Action target sent out some drawings, so they're coordinating now with the architect and engineers and so forth. So our team is starting to talk together right now, which is good. I'll update you on Downs. Same thing. The contract is with Marty, and we're just waiting on him to approve it. Once he approves that, then we'll have Downs on the contract. I've already spoken to Jeff, the VP of Downs, yesterday, and we just talked a little bit of logistics and how we're going to move forward with the project.
Okay.
I think he and I are on the same page with how we want to get the project started and get it moving.
Yeah.
So Vinny,
Yes.
we talked to Action Target, and the one thing that we were concerned about was, and I believe I could be off a little bit, but it was the 25-ton rooftop unit.
Correct.
It'll be the makeup air unit. We were very eager to get that order.
Yep.
We felt that was our weakest link, because
It is.
a lot of the other
30
stuff, a lot of the other,
something weeks.
yeah, a lot of the other stuff Action Target was making themselves. It sounded like their inventory on material was good. But we are a little bit at the mercy of Daikin. They had, I believe,
they were still gonna go with Daikin. And to get the equipment ordered, as soon as they got our purchase order.
Okay,
Lead time on equipment is just, as you know, is
it is.
it's slipping
It is.
constantly, yeah.
Yeah, I just coming off the project that we had, 2 big air handlers on, and they were 30 weeks, with getting them. The only thing that I can do is I can talk to Action Target and I can ask them if they would be, willing to put an or equal in there instead of going to a particular manufacturer. This way, when it goes out to bid, the contractor will have an opportunity to be able to submit on an or equal, with that might have a better lead time.
And I like,
That's all.
I'm very pro that because everything today is backnet.
Right.
So to hook that unit up to the existing system, I had mentioned that to them. They weren't really too receptive towards it.
Yeah,
Just for us as a team, that could hold up finishing the range right there. That's a
Right.
deal breaker.
I can tell you why. They probably feel very comfortable with this manufacturer, and this manufacturer knows exactly what they have to provide and what they have to do. My
Yeah,
last project, the air handler that was supporting a $20 million microscope, for NIH. They went with an or equal, and it took a year to get the submittals approved.
yeah.
And we don't have that time because they just kept submitting on incorrect information. If they would have submitted on the actual specified unit, we probably would have had a submittal approved in 4 to 6 weeks.
Right.
But we spent a year going back and forth with a lot of different variations because they just couldn't get it right. And the contractor wouldn't yield because they didn't want to buy the other unit because it was more money.
No.
So that's the risk that we have if we do an or equal. Now, our engineers have to match up the or equal. And if it doesn't match up, we're back to square one again. And that's probably why they don't want to go down that road. I can have a talk with Rex and talk to him about it, but I got a feeling that's probably why he's saying no.
Okay, it was just, we knew that was one of our risks
Right, it is.
and open. And just so that everybody knows, there's, I don't know, I don't think Bob's on. But it's a risk. It's a risk that we deal with. I know I deal with it every day.
Yeah.
Every day.
Yeah, you're talking 7 months from the time you get an approved submittal. You're not gonna get an approved submittal until we have contractors on board and we can buy it. So it's not 7 months from today, it's 7 months from the time we get our contractor. And when we can request that Downs, when they go up to bid and that their mechanical contractor, this is the first executable item that they do, is that they have, let's say, 1 week to get us a submittal. And force that in with them so we can get it. And then we hope we can get a 1 week turnaround for our engineers or back from, so.
Sounds good.
Yeah, I think we have to look at, like, we have the HVA system that's coming with the Action Target portion. And then we've got the HVAC that is coming through what's, Brian is designing, and that will go out to bid when Down sends out the bid packages. So we've got both of those. But I think we got to keep on top of both. And if they, get the submittals out there so that they can, issue either whatever orders, et cetera, even if we have to buy it before it's going to get installed and it sits somewhere, got to have it ready when we need it.
But Brian, the other units are just cassette units that you're gonna do in those back rooms, right?
That's right, John. There's
25 ton
there's
is the
small lead-
main, yeah,
There's not a lot of lead time concerns with those.
no, they're all.
What, a split system?
Yeah,
The big unit that John's talking about is coming from Action Target. It's within
Okay.
this package. So Action Target controls that unit.
That's the one that is 30 plus weeks out.
Yeah, that's the Daikin unit. 20, I believe it's 25 tons.
So they should, Action Target should be, kind of on top of that, because I don't notice they have to do submittals and all, because that's part of their package. They should be able to do whatever turnover works. I
So
don't,
Action Target would be buying that?
Yeah.
Yes,
buying it, bringing
Okay.
it,
And
installing it.
Okay, all right, so this isn't something that's going to the contract.
Nope.
No.
Okay, so I'll talk to Rex to see what we can do to expedite that unit.
And they told us when we talked to them, when we talked to Action Target, they said, as soon as we get our purchase order, we'll secure the 25-ton Daikin unit. So that
Okay,
it gets
great.
into production. And even if it gets here early and sits on a trailer or sits at the rigger's yard,
Right,
it was just our one piece that we feel was the weakest link.
okay. I'll talk to Rex tomorrow and see what we can do to get that expedited ASAP.
Thank you.
I got, just
Okay,
make
good.
sure it doesn't need anything from our end, to execute that. I had it mixed up for some reason. I thought Downs was purchasing that equipment.
No,
There, no, it's Action Target.
Action Target for sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, and then Brian, do you have anything for us since you're,
no, I was sitting at the office doing some work and I knew you had the meeting, so I was working and listening at the same time. So I really
Okay.
didn't have much to add. I wanted to introduce myself to Vinny and get to know Vinny. Vinny can get to know us, but our drawings are done. They're all coordinated with Action Target's equipment. And I think we're just gonna play the sit and wait game now.
well, once we get Downs completely on board, I mean, we've approved their amount, and then they can start putting together, probably once the contract is settled and signed, they can put together bid packages and anything that, I mean, it's a sit and wait, but at the same time, is there things that, or are there things that the different contractors could get going on ahead of time to be prepared, or would it be not a good idea and wait sort of a few months until we're getting closer and Action Target's going to be ready to do their part?
I think they'd have to look at what has to be procured, and if there's any long lead times, they would get on that. But as far as showing up at the job site, you're gonna find that they're not gonna want to mobilize until they can really perform some work.
Yeah.
And that's
I
really
agree.
not gonna happen until the Action Target equipment starts to get there.
Yeah, okay,
Yes, so what we'll do is we'll get a schedule from Action Target. We'll feed that over to Downs. We'll have Downs base their schedule off of Action Targets. So that way we can get everybody on board and everybody at the same time. Just because I know Downs is going to have to provide support to Action Target. So you're right, Brian. They're not going to want to be mobilized now and then have to come back to support Action Target again.
Yeah.
But they may have contractors that might be eager to get in there too, because they know that they don't have a full-time superintendent on the job. So maybe they may have a, depending on whom they get, they may be eager to get in there and get a jump start on stuff. Electrical, maybe it'll jump on stuff, the units that you were talking about, the split units, if those come in, maybe they can jump on them. But
I think you're gonna find, Nancy, that once the equipment starts to show up, the installation time is not long.
yeah, yeah.
It's just a way to get the equipment. Once it gets here, it goes together pretty quickly.
Right, and I think that'll be the stuff that has to happen before, a little bit of an infrastructure, mostly probably electrical, and then those ceiling structural supports, getting all that stuff in place so that Action Target can just come in.
Yep.
Poking a hole in the wall too.
Yep.
open a hole in the wall too, yeah.
Yeah. And then fixing the hole back up. Hopefully we can do that even when the weather's cold, because it sounds like it might be a little chilly.
You don't want to cut holes in the wall too early.
True. Yeah, that wouldn't be good.
Yeah, let's get let's get Action Target schedule. When they anticipate, we'll have Downs back into their schedule. And then build their schedule based on Action Target.
Good. Sounds like a plan.
Good to see you, Nancy.
Yeah, thanks, Brian. Anything else that you have or anybody have any questions for Brian or? No, we're good. We don't have any invoices. I think we probably won't need to meet even with this project at the end of August. I think we'll be good and, wait till September. And if obviously anything comes up, but I kind of don't think that's going to happen. So thank you for being with us tonight, Brian. It's good to see you.
Good to see everybody.
Yeah,
Good to
thanks.
see everybody. Hey, Brian.
Yeah. And if Vinny doesn't have anything else either, finish up that training range part. We got just a little update I'll give you on the municipal center project. So finishing up with the training range and moving on to municipal center renovation. So
You need me for this one? Am I on this one?
no, we are not actually, Ben. We're not sure we're running it.
All right.
But I think we're good. So thanks.
Enjoy the rest of your summer, and I'll be in contact with a few of you to get these chairs settled up and a few other items.
Great. If you have any questions,
If I have any questions, I will reach out to them.
great. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right.
Yep,
Have a
take
good
care.
night.
Thank you.
So on the municipal center renovations, we're still waiting to get a building permit, and is in the court, so to speak, of the health department. And Jay Metcalf from BM shared a email that Laura sent him, and it's basically, I'm not sure if I should kind of step in a little bit. I might. Laura is asking to have BMP hold a lead certification rather than having, we did the testing, we know where the lead is. That BMP will bring in a certified lead abatement contractor. The whole area is going to be sealed off while they're doing construction. The lead paint is in the baseboard, which will be either removed or abated. I don't remember what the exact plan is, but it's part of one of those itemized things on the list that BMP and Gordian put together. So, it just seems a little odd that rather than seeing that the head contractor, the construction manager, the general contractor, whatever, is going to then hire a lead abatement contractor to do the abatement, they want BMP, the general contractor, the construction manager, to have their own lead certification, which they probably have a couple people on staff that have it. But John, what are you shaking your head about? You're muted. You got to unmute yourself. There you go.
The only person that has to have the certification is the actual contractor that does it. I mean,
Yes.
you
So
know,
what I'm going to do is I'm going to email Laura, sending her the hygienics report from how many years ago, and say so that we can move forward with our building permit. I had actually saw, I think I'd said this at the last meeting, I saw Eileen and Laura talking in the hallway. We were in the middle of the referendum, and then we went, looked at the whole GP room lobby, and I said, this is going to be sealed, that's going to be sealed, nobody can go through here. She was all about the school kids in the gym, and I'm like, they're not going to come anywhere near here, they're not going to lick the baseboards, everything's going to be fine. And she said, every job runs like this, and I was like, no. Even as a little tiny home improvement contractor, if I go cut a hole in your wall, yeah, I got to check and make sure that the date of the paint is, then I might need to do a little lead swipe or whatever. But, if I hire somebody else to do it, they contain the area, they deal with it, they do it all properly, they do the paperwork. So we'll see. I'll email her and see what I can find out.
That's good, Nancy. I agree with you 100%.
Yeah. I think she's very good at her job, and she's very exacting, but I think she's kind of pushing it.
I think you should be okay on that. I mean, that's why you're hiring a contractor to do it.
Right. Yes.
And that's the whole purpose of it.
Right. But they're still looking at getting started in September, which initially Eileen was hoping that they would start like in June and be far enough along by the end of the summer when the school programs start, et cetera. But since they're going to seal off all the doors, the only door going in and out is going to be that main GP room lobby door, and there's going to be a dumpster sitting outside. Would you want a dumpster sitting on the lawn during Food Truck Friday or the Sunday concerts or anything else that's happening on the front lawn? So trade-off. The dumpster will probably sit there for a while until they get rid of and deal with the main demolition, and then go away.
And just as a point of reference, or I got an email about, so that the town was looking to hire a project manager, owner's rep firm to work with the town on several projects that are coming up. I don't know if they'll be assigned to us. I think they may go through Public Works. I don't really know. But Kathy doesn't know either. She's shrugging her shoulders. But the town decided to hire Colliers, which we had looked at Colliers when we were looking for owner's rep for the school projects. That Colliers is a very large company, although, you know, STV is too, since they bought out lots of other people in the area or around the country. So Colliers is on board, and Matt sent me an email saying Colliers is on board. Here's their info, and I don't know what I'm supposed to do with it. So I don't know whether Colliers is going to be owner's rep on the municipal center renovations and work with us. So I have to find that out. I will check and let you know next time we meet. And that's probably all I have for that too. So we're not going to meet at the end of August. We will meet September, whatever it is, 10th or something. I'm looking at my calendar now. So no August 24, but September 14th it will be. And to let you know, John Menti, hopefully Roy Steiner will help you. I'm away in September, starting on the 14th. So you're gonna have to run the meeting.
Okie dokie.
So pay attention to everything going around, and I'll make sure you get included on all the stuff that, especially with the stormwater thing of happening beside John. If anybody wants to go for a walk back there, let me know. I'm tired of walking. Well, it's nice to walk back there, but so like I said, I'm away at that 14th, and then the whole week after that. So you're in charge.
I'll be around that whole time. I'll be out of work for a couple of weeks during that period, so I'll be home. I'm having my left knee replaced on the 24th.
Oh.
That's a Saturday. We're really gonna, or you're,
No, August 24th.
oh, okay. All right.
I went to see Dr. Summeroff, and I'm having the rest of the summer off.
That's crazy. All right, well, I'll just make sure you get included. Obviously, you're not going to go hiking behind the stormwater management area after you have your knee done, but hope that all goes well. But I'll get you, make sure you get all the emails going around about that. I actually have a lot of stuff going on in September, weddings and family things. And so I'll just hand it all over to you guys. You run it.
Good.
All right. So what's next?
I make a motion, we adjourn, and let's all enjoy the next couple of weeks off.
Second.
Everybody's seconding it. All in favor?
Thank you.
Aye. Everybody.
Bye.
Great rest of your summer.
Yeah.
Safe. Stay cool.
Good night, everyone.
Thank you.
Good night.
Everyone.
Good night. Good night.
Night, everyone. Yep. Bye-bye.